Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. The Atlanta Falcons are always a team that keeps us on our toes, right? Year after year, they surprise us, sometimes with brilliant moves, sometimes with strategic gambles, but always with that relentless desire to improve and push for something bigger. And this offseason, it looks like the Falcons are once again making bold moves, especially in their secondary, a critical area that many fans have been watching closely. Recently, the team has taken a real shot at adding depth to that cornerback position, and the latest development involves a player who was once considered a top-tier talent coming out of college. That player is none other than C.J. Henderson, a name that sparks a lot of conversation among fans and analysts alike. Now, if you've been following the NFL, you know Henderson's story is one of high expectations. Drafted in 2020, Henderson was a first-round pick, selected 8th overall by the Jacksonville Jaguars. As a rookie, he showed flashes of potential, displaying the athleticism and coverage skills that made him a top 10 pick. But as many NFL stories go, the journey wasn't exactly smooth sailing. After his initial rise, Henderson faced some challenges, including injuries and inconsistency, which affected his development. Within just 2 seasons, the Jaguars traded him to the Carolina Panthers, a move that raised eyebrows at the time because Henderson was still so young and full of promise. Last year, Henderson was with the Steelers, but here's the kicker: he didn't see a single snap during the entire season. That's right, he was on the roster, practicing, but not even stepping onto the field in game situations. That's a tough spot for any player, especially someone who's still relatively young and eager to prove himself. So why are the Falcons interested now? Well, it's pretty straightforward. The team is actively looking to bolster their secondary, particularly at outside cornerback, a position that's crucial for their defensive schemes. Last season, Atlanta's cornerbacks performed decently, but the lack of proven depth behind their starters was evident. They need someone who can step in, provide quality snaps, and push the starters to be better. Henderson, with his pedigree and athletic profile, fits that bill. The Falcons worked him out recently, and the buzz around the league suggests that they are seriously considering signing him. This isn't just a casual workout. It's a real opportunity for Henderson to revive his career, and for Atlanta to potentially land a player who was once viewed as a franchise cornerstone. Now, it's interesting to reflect on the Falcons' history with draft picks and their willingness to take risks on players who didn't quite pan out initially. Remember, in 2023, when Falcons general manager Terry Fontenot traded a 5th-round pick just weeks before the draft to acquire Jeff Okudah. That move was seen as a gamble, but it paid off for a stretch. Okudah looked like a legit answer opposite A.J. Terrell during a 5-game stretch, which gave Atlanta fans hope that they might have finally found a reliable corner. But then, unfortunately, Okudah's performance fell off a cliff afterward, and the team was back to searching for answers. That situation showed us that sometimes, taking a chance on a player with a shaky past can still yield some value, especially if they're motivated and in the right environment. And Henderson's case is somewhat similar. He was a first-round pick, yes, but he struggled to find consistency and a stable role in the league. Still, his athletic profile and experience make him worth a shot, especially considering the Falcons' current roster needs. Their defense has been solid but not elite, and adding a player like Henderson could give them that extra edge, especially in coverage situations. Plus, it's worth noting that Henderson's time with the Panthers and Steelers didn't go as planned, but that doesn't mean he's out of the game. Sometimes, a change of scenery, a new coaching staff, and a fresh start can make all the difference. The Falcons are known for their willingness to take chances on players who are looking to bounce back, and Henderson might just be the next in line. Now, talking about the team's current roster, the Falcons have been building a young, dynamic defense. A.J. Terrell is clearly the cornerstone at cornerback, a player who's established himself as one of the top young cornerbacks in the league. His performances last season showed that he's a legitimate shutdown guy, capable of locking down the opponent's best receiver on any given day. But behind him, there's been a bit of a question mark. The team has tried different options, looking for that second outside corner to complement Terrell. They've relied on players like Mike Hughes, who's proven to be a valuable piece, especially given his experience and versatility. Hughes has stepped into the CB2 role effectively, but the lack of depth behind him has been a concern. The team's off-season focus has been on addressing this, and bringing in Henderson could be part of that puzzle. The interesting thing about Henderson is that, although he's been labeled a bit as a bust because of where he was drafted and some of the struggles he's faced, he still has the tools. Athleticism, length, coverage ability, these are qualities that the Falcons would love to add to their roster. If Henderson can bring his talent and that hunger to prove himself, he could quickly become a valuable asset, especially in sub-packages or situational roles. The Falcons' coaching staff has shown a willingness to develop talent and give players a second chance, and Henderson's story could be one of redemption if things click into place. And let's not forget about the bigger picture here. The NFC South is shaping up to be one of the most competitive divisions in the league this year. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with their revamped roster, are looking strong, and the New Orleans Saints always have a solid team with a resilient defense. The Carolina Panthers, under new leadership, are trying to find their identity. The Falcons, by adding depth and competition in their secondary, are positioning themselves to not just compete but to be serious contenders. A strong secondary can be the difference maker in close games, especially when facing high-powered offenses. If Henderson ends up signing and performs well, it could give Atlanta that extra boost to elevate their defense into the upper echelon of the league. Now, it's also worth mentioning the broader context of Atlanta's defensive strategy. Last year, the Falcons' defense was decent but not exceptional. They finished the season with a respectable ranking, but they clearly wanted to make upgrades. The addition of a player like Henderson, if it materializes, would give them more flexibility and options against a variety of offensive schemes. It's all about creating competition within the roster, pushing players like Terrell and Hughes to perform at their best, and ensuring that the secondary is resilient against the league's top passing attacks. Plus, this move aligns with the Falcons' general approach, strategic, calculated, and willing to gamble on upside. They've shown that they're not afraid to take risks on players who might have fallen out of favor or haven't lived up to expectations. It's a mindset that served them well in the past, and it could very well be the same this time around. The NFL is a league of second chances, and Henderson's story is still being written. The Falcons' coaching staff and front office are clearly looking at ways to maximize their roster's potential, and if Henderson can recover some of that early promise, it could be a win-win situation for both sides. Moving forward, fans should keep an eye on how this situation develops. Will Henderson sign? Will he make an immediate impact in training camp or preseason games? How will he fit into the Falcons' defensive schemes and overall team chemistry? These are questions that only time will answer, but what's clear is that the Falcons are making deliberate moves to strengthen their roster, and Henderson is very much in the mix. This isn't just about filling a roster spot. It's about adding a player who, with the right environment, could still carve out a meaningful role in Atlanta. And of course, the fans' perspective is crucial here. The excitement about potential signings like Henderson shows how invested everyone is in the team's success. The Atlanta Falcons have a passionate fan base, always eager to see their team grow and overcome challenges. Whether Henderson ends up being a starter or a rotational player, his addition would symbolize the Falcons' commitment to improving their defense and building a team that can compete at the highest level. It's this kind of strategic thinking and willingness to take chances that keeps fans engaged and optimistic about what's to come. So, in conclusion, the Falcons are clearly exploring options to bolster their secondary, and C.J. Henderson's workout is a significant part of that effort. It's a story of redemption, potential, and strategic risk-taking that exemplifies how the NFL is a league of second chances and ongoing evolution. For Atlanta, getting Henderson on board could be the missing piece they need to elevate their defense and push even further in the NFC South. But as always, we'll have to wait and see how this unfolds in the coming weeks. One thing for sure, the Falcons are not standing still. They're actively shaping their roster to be better, faster, and more competitive, and Henderson might just be the next piece in that puzzle. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Atlanta Falcons news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential signing? Do you believe Henderson can turn things around and become a key piece in Atlanta's defense? Or do you think they should look elsewhere? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and more importantly to the Falcons. Remember, I'll be back very soon with more updates, more insights, and all the latest news about your favorite team. So stay tuned, keep supporting the Falcons, and let's keep this conversation alive. Thanks for sticking with me, and as always, go Falcons!